Hi, my name is Packy, creator of Pack Rat's Shack. I upcycle furniture, build out of pallet wood, finish interior spaces, and have a vendor booth for my creations. Welcome to my world.
So when I started building this seat, I ran out of storage to keep recording. So my daughter and the computer I download onto was out of town, so I couldn't stop. I had to keep going with my different projects. So I went ahead and cut all of my pieces of wood to size. So basically I have these boards that I picked up from Lowe's. They're a poplar. They're not quite 3/4 of an inch deep, so they're not 1x, but they are thick enough to be sturdy for the seat. So I got 2 boards that were about 4 feet long, and then I got one of these thinner ones that was also about 4 feet long. And when it was totally together, I was able to hold it along the edge and brace it against the outside of both of these to make my line. I started with 1 board, and then when I took it up to my saw, I was able to tell that this was a 6-degree angle. So therefore, after I cut one at the correct width for the back, then I can just put another piece up to it and mark off from the start of the lines on each side, and then I know to keep my 6 degrees, and then it just keeps progressively getting slightly bigger to the front side. So then when it comes to the back piece and the front piece, I used a jigsaw to cut these circles, which I just hand drew based off of what it looked like. And again, I used a straight piece to make the start line. Then after I used the jigsaw, I used a Dremel tool sander to keep working it back further and further and smoothing it out until I had it where I wanted it that would clear all the posts. So that's where we're at on that. And then when you put it all together and line it up where you want it on the seat, so that you have pretty much the same progression over here as over there and about the same amount of space by each leg, then I went ahead and made little tick marks so that when I'm putting it back together off of the chair, I can line the seat up and it'll be in this position. So that's where we're at right now, is to the point of securing all of these together so it can be one seat slab rather than 4 individual loose pieces. So that's what we're gonna do now. So this is how this is gonna go, but we want to make sure our tick marks from the front line up and don't get offline. So we got to first hold this together before we flip it over in that position. So that'll keep it from moving left to right, and now we have it in the direction we want. Really hoping this doesn't blow through. I've never used this shallow wood before. Yeah, see, it is going through. All right. So, next plan. So those aren't going to work. They're going to blow out the front of this. I don't want to continue to go that route. Okay, we're still working on trying to get the seat working or installed. So I went ahead and I put the two halves together to make a hole, and I already knew we would have to sand this top off and the sides down a little bit. We're going to have to sand it down to just make these a little more even and get off any glue residue and just other marks and blemishes that I've created along the way. But as you can see, it fits right in. Now I'm wanting to, when you're sitting on this, I don't think just gluing and clamping is going to be strong enough. So I'm going to actually put these on rails that will just also hold them all together. So anyway, these rails will be underneath the seat and it'll help just reinforce all of this together without room to separate one way or the other. And I also was already planning on using the rails before I found out that the pocket screws were not going to work, just for the fact that it'll also help position it in this opening as far as giving it a brace to go against and fit right in. So that way the seat can be lifted out, wiped down, or cleaned up if it has to. But these are just round spindles, and they've already got holes in them from when webbing and stuff used to be wound around and tacked in. I just am not sure that these need to have screw holes put in them when you can just sit the seat in there and gravity will hold it in place. deep enough. Okay, pulls it down right below. That's what we want. Basically, now this is a reinforcement to gluing that will keep it as strong as it would have been if I used the pocket holes that I couldn't get to work, but plus, now let's see if this works. I'm hoping it works like I planned it. Let's hope it works. And we're not working. Oh, wait, there it is. It works. So, it helps position that in there. So, yeah. There for a minute I thought my idea didn't work, but it works. Yep. All balanced. Not moving around. Yeah. Okay, so both of these products can be used to fill in holes and is said to be as strong as wood originally is and can be used even to anchor and drill and blah 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 blah. Anyways, this one on the front does not say stainable paintable. This one says stainable paintable. But I've used both before, and this one is a lot more granulated, which means after you're done and you get it even to the point of sanding back to where you want, a lot of times you have to go in with something smoother like this to fill in the little top imperfections, because like I said, it's granular. It doesn't necessarily dissolve. It'd be like sugar not dissolving and leaving kind of a texture. This would smooth it out. These are very, very shallow. They don't need to be really, really deep or like a big thick agent in there. And this is smoother. And even though it doesn't say that it's paintable and stainable or whatever on the front, on the back in the little writing it says can be used as wood, basically saying that it can be sanded, drilled, planed, stained, varnished. Everything that you can do with wood, you can do with this afterwards. So, being that it's a smoother top finish when you're done, that's what I'm going to do, because even though it says you don't need to sand afterwards, you can just rub it on and rub off the excess. Well, a lot of times you're digging out further than you need to when you're doing that when it's still wet. So is what I like to do is go ahead and overfill it, let it dry, and then sand it back. All of this needs sanded anyways, but is what my intention is after this is sanded back, I just want these perfect little circles revealed. And I'm hoping that this takes the stain differently so that those act as a different decorative feature by the time I'm done. I don't know what I'm trying to explain it as, but these aren't going to be deep enough to necessarily put in wood dowels and cut off. Maybe that would have been acceptable if I went for a 3/4 inch board, but I went with a thinner board. So this is where we're at. I'm hoping that when I'm all done, that these will be perfect little circles in the midst of the whole seat, 2 rows of perfect circles that take the stain differently. So basically where we're at right now is just overfilling and walking away and letting it dry. I'm moving it around just to make sure that we're pushing it in, but I'm trying not to wipe away any of the excess because I'd rather it just be overfilled and sanded back one time. Okay, gonna put my mask on, and we're going to be starting with 120 grit sandpaper so that we can work off the wood filler as well as smooth out and work off some glue. Okay, the 80 grit did really good at evening out the boards with each other as far as leveling that out and getting off any marks that my tools made or pencil marks, and rounding out and evening up all the edges. But because it's a bigger grit, it kind of dug into my little circles a little more than I wanted to, so I'm going, and also maybe move debris in there that cut it a little bit. So I'm going to just top that off with a little bit more wood filler and let that dry, and then sand it back down with a 180. So not sure if you can see what I'm talking about, but like little nicks or holes. We're gonna go in and do just a scuff sand. Make sure no raised wood cells are high. This is again the Minwax wood finish, semi-transparent color stain, and this is in true black. So now I'm going to do a wipe-on poly coat. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put on my mask. You guys keep reminding me, and I'm trying to make it a habit. And I just get going on my projects and totally forget. Oops. All right, now we're ready. So I am trying. I'm trying to remember the mask. I'm trying. All right, I think that's where I started. So I should probably, I'll wait for it all to dry and I'll position it somewhat upside down and get it from a different angle. And then after that dries, I'll put it back right up and do a second coat in this position. That just ensures that everything should be gotten very well. Alright, here we're going to hopefully get going on our very last coat of wipe-on poly. And I have a piece of 1000 grit sandpaper wrapped around this sponge so I can just get off any lint that I accidentally polyed into it on the last coat. a lot smoother this time. So it looks good. We're going to let that dry and then call it a wrap. I've already sprayed this upside down and turned around in a couple different positions, and then right side back up. I did it a third time all the way through. So that is ready to go. It's just about waiting for this. Then I'll put the seat in there and stage it for photographs. Okay, looks like we're all done. I think it looks beautiful. That's what the new chair looks like.
Hey everybody, it's Nova. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. We really appreciate you guys' growing support. If you like the video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you have any thoughts, comment down below. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. We are so close because of you guys, and we're so thankful for that. With that said, have a good night. Stay safe out there.